Hey everyone, get comfy. It's TV dinner time. Today we're talking about the last two episodes of Bodies on Netflix, episodes 7 and 8. If you haven't already, we have three other episodes. So we've done episodes 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. So this is the finale, and let's get into it.
And we're going to be talking about the end. So if
Spoiler
you
warning.
have not seen this, yes. But yeah, we're kind of making comments before we started this this recording. my one note or one of the notes that kind of like stand out to me for episode 7, I wrote, I feel like the story's falling off the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's because I really don't give a shit. I really don't care, like, seeing where Harker was during these like important moments. You pretty much just it's an easy way to rehash the story in the end of the episodes to see like where this guy's been floating around. It's interesting, but I'm like, all right, well, you just waste the whole episode to show us where this guy was.
Yeah, that's literally. I think that's literally my note. Is it was a long, drawn out story of how he came to be, and it's like they should have just cut it off at episode 6. It was a great ending. We got everything we needed, and then they were like, "Nah, we'll give him 2 more episodes." And like you said, 7 was just drawn out. I don't really give 2 shits about what he has going on. And then 8 was a little bit better, but it was also just like unnecessary.
Yeah, I wonder that it like you said, ending on episode 6. I like if that did happen, I think I would have. Yeah, like I would have been fairly content with it. Where it's like, okay, that was pretty good and everything, because you kind of ruin it with like, it's almost like those trilogies where the first movie is just building up the story, the second movie is like the best thing in the world, and then the third movie falls off a cliff, so to speak, because it's like you have to end the story, and most people are like, I just want the story to keep going. Yeah, and then you kind of like, it's almost like what Marvel does with recently, where it's like there's all these filler episodes where there's some episodes that like just are nonsense, where it's like I don't need to see like them messing around or like joking around. Like, continue the story. Like, why do a 10 story arc or 10 episode arc if you're gonna really tell the whole story in 7 episodes?
It's the truth. It would save them money too.
Right?
But if it like this, watching these last 2 episodes, it really, and I think we had talked about it previously, but it made me think this must be something Netflix like just does. This is their MO, because Haunting on Hill House was like that. Like, you watch all these episodes and then you get to the last 1 or 2 and you're like, I watched all of this, all these hours of television, and then you give me this piece of shit finale. And same with the OA. The OA I loved all the way up until like the last like 1 or 2 episodes.
The OA? What's that?
It's a Netflix show. It's like about. It's not about the future. It is kind of about the future. It's very strange, but it was good. The first season, I haven't seen any of the other ones, so I don't know if it changed. But first season, I was super involved. I told other people, you got to check it out. And then I would always tell them, hey, the last episode sucks. Like, don't even waste your time.
Well, it's like, I guess it's like, it's a conundrum for like every writer. Like, the writers do great things. Like we saw it from the first like 3-4 episodes up until episode 6, most likely, where the writing is like on the seat of your pants and everything, and you're like, whoa, I want to see what comes next.
Yeah.
And then you get to this like this thing where like, now I gotta finish this, and I think because like Netflix is so sketchy with like whether or not they're gonna continue the story or like they're gonna give a second season. I wonder if like that like messes up a lot of writers, where it's like, all right, what do I do? Like, we want to kind of like be hopeful that we're gonna get a second season, but Netflix is most likely gonna cancel us for no reason and stuff. So like, what do you do? Do you write an ending that's an ending, and then you see, almost like kind of do the Futurama thing, where like Futurama always like believed that they were going to be canceled every season, so they just like killed them off every single season. And then
that
they
might
just
be
figured
your
it out
best
for the
thing.
next season and everything.
Yeah, that might be your best thing because there has to be somebody at Netflix that's kind of pulling those strings of, hey, if your show's good, you may get picked up, but it's not a for sure thing. So yeah, when you're in the writer's room, you're probably like, okay, we can only go so far and give this story to the viewers, but we have there's so many other things we can do with this show. But if we're not picked up, what's the point of giving all this? So let's just try to give you an ending, but then give you get a little bit of filler just in case.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the last episode, they ended pretty well, where it's like, it, dude, all right. Question to this is the last episode, the way it ended.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe there's a possibility for a second season?
Yeah, I think they left it kind of
open
for
right?
that. Yeah.
Because what we assume is that the cult is still around.
Mm-hmm.
Because like as she's being driven around in 2023 and has saved the world from that giant explosion,
Yeah.
you see off to the distance that the "Know That You Are Loved" acronym like lights up on a building,
Yeah.
and then the detective from 2052 is driving the taxi. So we're assuming that they still have time travel.
Yeah.
Or they're still able to do that. So that cult is still around. That's one of my biggest questions is like, or like one of the biggest things, like, you know how they were saying that like Harker is, at first they were defeated because like they believed Harker was inevitable, almost like a Thanos, where it's like the universe wants him to do this and stuff. and so they were like, we don't know what to do. But it seems like the universe is like, well, the cult is going to be here no matter what. Harker was not like pivotal to this whole situation. So that means the cult was around before Harker, right?
Yeah, in some capacity, and then he took over the cult and became like the figurehead for it, is what it felt like.
Yeah. So I guess like that was their way of ending it, where it's like, all right, if we get a second season, we can do it. We have like this open ended kind of question and stuff. I don't know. I like the way it ended and stuff. I don't know. Like you said, where episode 6 would have been a nice kind of send off, where it's like, if we want to watch episode 6, I don't know. That one ends with like he clicks the button.
Yeah.
And then, and I guess you're kind of wondering as to whether or not, like, all right, if you were thinking about a second season after episode 6,
coming up with my own assumptions of what else was out there. If they would have ended at 6, right? Like if they went up to 6, ended it there, there's that what if, and then you can come up with your own conclusion. I would have been cool with that. I didn't hate episode 8. Episode 7 was useless. Episode 8, I was like, okay, that's a nice way to wrap it up. But yeah, I'm still on the side of like they should have ended it at 6.
Yeah, me too. But will you be surprised if it gets canceled? Probably not, right?
No, because it's not like you don't hear people talking about it. It's very
that's true.
Netflix knows how to market their shows so that the masses watch it. And this was one that kind of went under the radar.
I guess it's like you can almost assume that Netflix already understands, like, based off their numbers, that like everyone says like they have these like these numbers that they look at and stuff. But I guess you can assume the way that they like push bodies on like the main screen. If they don't, then they're probably like, all right, well, this is a done deal. Like, we're just going to kind of push it off to the side and stuff and make some other show. And then that's the one that stays there. And then they give you like a reminder now too. Like I'm starting watching a new show on Netflix, and it's like, it's the first season, it's done. And then it tells you it's official, the second season's coming and everything. Then you're more willing to watch that first season because it's like, all right, now I can watch a second season.
Yeah. But they, like you said, they already know which ones they're going to give that to. Of like, okay, based on the theme of this show, people should like it, or hey, based on the marketing that we've done for this show, we'll most likely give it a second season. So to put that out there, because it seems like they do that a lot, like with the Wednesday came out, everybody loved it, and then it seemed within like a month they were like, oh, season 2's announced, and it's like, we
Yeah,
just
right.
finished season 1.
True. I don't know. In terms of like the whole bodies, I think the acting was very good. I was surprised where like the guy that plays Harker, I forget what his name is in real life is, but he's a very good actor and everything, and I
Yeah.
think he played that character well. The lady that played Hassan,
2023.
yeah, from 20. I think I don't know. I was very surprised that all of them like, and this was like a sort of like a British show, right? Like, I don't know. Most of them had a British accent except for the Harker guy. I think he's like he's like American. But yeah, I was like very surprised how well these actors and actresses kind of like came in and did their roles. Even though they're like all playing the same role, they're different. And it's because of their nuances. Like one of them is a gay individual in this like time that like no one gives a shit, or like no tells you not to do that. That's illegal and everything. One's a Jewish individual during 1941. That's like the scariest time for like other than probably now. But and then you have so much stuff that kind of goes on with this, and I was very surprised with the production of this, and I think that's there's no question about that with Netflix. The production is pretty good. It's always good.
Yeah. The show had a lot of good pieces, but they just didn't know when and how to wrap it up in a timely manner. Like, yeah. Even they could have given us 7 episodes. Episode 8 could have been episode 7, and that would have been a great.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say don't end it on 7, but like if you replace episode 8 with 7 and everything, or like that could have been swap it and stuff.
Yeah,
true. I think so.
And why did that's the one of my notes was, why did the detective from 1940 get brutally murdered like that? I was not expecting it. like he did some messed up stuff, but he was brutally murdered. I was like, goodness.
But I guess that goes to the time where it's like they were like, he was really like,
he was ruthless,
working in a fucking vat of like boiling oil with like him being a Jewish individual. Like everyone else hated him. So I think a lot of them took out a lot of their hate on him.
They showed it too. That man got, oof, he went.
Yeah, I felt bad, man. It's like, and then he's like, the one good thing I did.
And he was my favorite character.
But when they showed all of them at the end, yeah, he's very sharply dressed. He's the best dressed out of all of them, man. It's like
that was my guy, man. That was my favorite character. Yeah, they did that to him. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, man. I don't know. All right, to end this, we've seen the whole season. Like, who do you recommend this to? Who would you like say from your like point of view? Like, all right, like you're gonna say, even though probably knowing that this may not go to a second season, like who would you say should watch this?
That's a tough one. Because you probably are on the same boat. Like people ask you about shows to like show recommendations. This is one I haven't recommended to anybody yet. And I think it takes a certain type of person to be interested in this. So maybe someone that is looking for a show that's one season, quick burn, that's interested in time travel, or like suspense crime show that's not a docuseries, because Netflix has a million of those. Maybe someone in that frame of mind.
Yeah, my family came over, and this is after the holidays right now. The only person I gave the recommendation to is my mom, because like she loves kind of like crime dramas and stuff, but she likes the documentaries, and I feel like she will get lost with like where the show falls off a cliff, where it's like,
Yeah.
all right, well, I don't need to know all this stuff and everything. It's like, but I still think she will enjoy like we did. She will enjoy the first few episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, it's like now you got to push through to the very last one and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. My dad might like it. I think my parents will enjoy watching it. I think my dad will kind of like the time travel aspect. My mom will like the crime, kind of like, oh, there's this puzzle piece that you kind of have to like find. So I think that's the only one. But like in terms of like my brothers and stuff, I don't know. My older brother Michael, you know him.
Mm-hmm.
He might like it. He might watch it and stuff because like he just like watches everything that he like is interested in and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, it's like it's difficult to kind of go out and like I'm not going to go out to a random person and be like, "Oh, have you seen this movie, this show,
Have you seen
Bodies?"
Bodies? It's like, what is Bodies? He's even like, so okay, I think I have tried to recommend it to two people. Try to recommend it to a friend and then to my dad. He watches any and everything, so he hasn't got to it yet. But the friend I was recommending it to, they were like, "So what's it about?" And there was no, or at least at the time, I couldn't think of like an elevator pitch for the show because there's so many different pieces. So I was like, "Hey, it's about time travel, but it's about a crime that occurred, and the crimes are all connected in these timelines." It was just a lot, and I'm like, "That's a lot. Sorry, but that's just how the show is." So it maybe if I'm able to figure out some elevator pitch for the show, I may recommend it to more people. But as of right now, it just seems like there's too many pieces involved in this show to easily be like, "Yo, you should check this out."
Right? Yeah, it's a very complex kind of like. I guess like the way I can explain it is like it's Sherlock Holmes with time travel. Like if you want to like, but I think
Yeah,
it's because of like the olden time aspect of it, where it goes
yeah,
back to like 1890 and stuff. But that's like my immediate reaction was like, oh, it's like Sherlock Holmes with time travel, and I was like, that's probably the best way to kind of say it and stuff. And so
honestly, yeah,
like maybe if someone enjoys Sherlock Holmes and stuff, then it's like, all right, well, there's this show on Netflix. Everyone has Netflix,
yeah.
and it's pretty interesting right now and stuff. So, yeah, I think that's like the only way we can kind of do it. But other than that, I think there's better shows on Netflix for sure.
For sure.
There's better shows on other streaming
For sure.
streaming services.
Yes, for sure.
I'm excited about our next one, our choice for our next TV dinner.
Same.
And so,
Yeah, I'm excited for that too. Hopefully,
but
it doesn't let us down like this show did.
we'll watch that and record that. Yeah, right. But all right, well, if you've seen this series or the last few episodes of Bodies, please let us know in the comments if you liked it, enjoyed it, if you were confused by episode 7 like us, or really hated episode 7. And please like and subscribe for more TV dinner at Saturday Night Popcorn on YouTube.